Oops, I did it again. Was it a mistake? Or did I do it on purpose? Oh no, it's fine, I can just fix it. Do we all have mistakes in our lives? Like the one that I just did. But sometimes we have mistakes that we intend to do, just to piss people off. And then you have mistakes where you don't actually feel it. Let me give you a pep talk. Across all of my life, I've done many mistakes. And one of which is that some of them that I didn't intend to do. And I regret it to this day. But the one that I just did right now, I purposely done it. And you've looked at your reactions. But now, I wanted to ask you, with your mistakes in life, did you do it on purpose, or did you not actually feel it? Let me take you back a couple of years ago, where I was at school, doing my normal thing. And at that time, as a student, you do many mistakes. But that's what it's called the pre-life. Where anything that you do before working, it's not counted. That's the ideology behind it. And that's what I've done. Anything that I would do, I would say, it's a mistake. And I would just say, I'm a student. This is not counted. But at that time, many people would come across. And they would look at me and observe me. And question me of, why are you doing what you do? And as time passed by, I thought that mistakes were fine. But what I tend to realize is that once you do mistakes, there always has to come a purpose with it. When you do a mistake, there is a learning outcome. And that was something that I didn't encounter. Like, for example, a test. I would do well and fine, but at some times where I felt lazy, I tended to say the normal excuse. How many of us had excuses? And how many of us tend to use that excuse just to portray or to help that mistake? And it's inevitable that once we put that, do we learn something from it? Do we actually change as human beings? Because like what I did right now, pulling that chair and throwing it to the ground, but using the mistake as, oh, it was a mistake, didn't actually change anything. And if I put this chair onto the side, like our problems, and try to avoid mistakes, and try to not let it pass through us, but rather prevent it, rather than cure it. And at times that when I've done mistakes, like this mistake that I've encountered right now, that is a learning curve. And at everybody's lives, once they encounter a mistake, there are two aspects to it. It's either you learn from it, and you take it as a challenge, and you move on with it, or you can always have the other option, and use that as an excuse. And with that, my problems and my mistakes took me into a grave that I was digging. And I was the person who would jump into that grave. Does anyone like that feeling?
No.
As human beings, we like to inspire. And with minds, what I've encountered is that it doesn't matter if you're in a Toastmasters event, or it doesn't matter from what position you are. What life has taught you is that mistakes are inevitable. And of course, with any person who does mistakes, it's human beings. As creatures, we tend to do mistakes. We can see in many projects that have cost millions and millions and caused so much of people's dedicated lives, but they all come to a mistake. that ruins everything. But however, the most primary mistake that we've done is that we don't reflect. And as a person who has encountered many mistakes, and of course that I'm not proud to do so, I would just like to leave a message to everyone here. It doesn't have to just be in this circuit, but to use it in our day-to-day lives. Is that once you put a mistake, you either have two options. Either you grow and think and adapt, or you throw it down and you dig your own grave. Over to you.